Our teaching today is coming from the Pearl of Wisdom, volume 21, number, number 16, Peace and Elohim of the Sixth Ray, dated April the 16th, 1978. Spoken by the Elohim out of the Spirit of the Lord unto the two witnesses. I came not to send peace, but a sword. So as we listen to the title of I came not to send peace, but a sword. As we read in Matthew chapter 10, verse 34, we understand that our beloved Jesus also was the main one that taught us about he came to send, not to send peace, but a sword. And Jesus is described as telling the disciples that he came not to bring peace to the world, but a sword. Jesus' sword was not a literal sword. In fact, when Peter took up his sword to defend Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus rebuked him and told him to put away his sword. For all who draw the sword will die by the sword. And as we remember, when Peter severed the soldier's ear and Jesus put it back on. So he's letting us know, even at that point, that that is not the way of handling things. We got to have peace within our members. We got to have peace within our being, within our homes, each and every one. I mean, you can imagine going home. Well, I wouldn't say you can imagine, but just the thought of things of a person going home and walking into their home and it's all in chaos. There's no peace. You know, when you walk through the door, it's a lot of noise. I don't live that way, and I'm sure you don't either. And that's the way life should be. You should have peace within your being, peace within your home. As you go home, that is where your peace resides within you. So everywhere you go, you take your peace with you. I would like to share with you that I had a experience once before that I was out on a job site, and when I had gone out to meet with the gentleman on the job site, you know, he came out jumping and fussing and calling, all names, and and I had to stand there and look at him for a moment, and then I spoke to him once he got finished jumping up and down, and I told him, I says, well, you know what you do is you go back inside your school, and when you get yourself together, you come out and talk to me. And he stood and he looked at me kind of quizzical as to, what does that mean? But he did that. He stopped talking and he went back inside the school and he gathered himself and he came back out and we had a conversation and the job moved forward. So the main thing that the Almighty wants us to know is that you got to have peace in everything that you're doing. When someone else loses their peace, you don't follow suit and lose yours. So if I would love to read to you, as far as Christ, Jesus had told us in Matthew's chapter 10, 34, it says, do not think that I came to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's enemies will be those of his own household. So Jesus knew that whatever was going on, it would not only happen out in the world, but it's going to happen within your household. Because everyone, just because you agreed to the teaching and to follow the light of the Christ, not everyone is going to follow where you want to go. So although you're being led and the Spirit is calling you and telling you what has to happen, that is not where everybody is. So Jesus experienced that with his disciples. He experienced that through, um, all the things that was going on with some of his disciples that walked with him. Once they saw what they felt was enough, they turned and walked away and never returned. And so we know that there's going to be that separation, not only in the world, but within our families. He who loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he who loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. This is what Jesus shares with us and is telling us. And he who does not take up his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. He who finds his life will lose it, and he who loses his life for my sake shall find it. So whenever we're working that light according to the Almighty that he's given us each and every day, he's given us that opportunity to be who we're supposed to be in order to get back to the house of God. He's given us that opportunity to clear our manger where Christ resides within our hearts. Clear our manger for his birth each and every day, that as we rise, the birth of the Christ has a manger to be born in and able to walk and talk within and give us that guidance and that blessing. So as we begin our study today, I would like to share with you, as beloved peace and aloha starts off by greeting, saying, "Hail, sons and daughters of the flame. I am peace in the flaming sword of truth. I come forth out of the retreat of the white light of the mother, adorned by the fires of the purple and gold. I am peace. I am aloha," as they greet us. And I am the energizing of that consciousness of God that is within you. So that light of the Christ that is within you, they are there for that amplification and the moving forward of that wisdom, to let you know what time it is, and they are able to work with you. You already know that you've been pre-warned that they came not to send peace, but a sword. And they are the sword, which is the light of the Christ that's within us, in order to awaken each and every heart flame. I instill the fires of the Elohim, and I can come forth to tremble the consciousness, to shake the lethargic ones, and to let you feel the presence of peace. That is the power of the very power that is the fountain of your life. So we know that fountain is that light of the Christ, that light of God. In Revelation 21, it tells us, and as it says, "And he sat upon the throne, said, Behold, I make all things anew. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. And he said it to me, It is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, and I will give unto thee that is a thirst of the fountain of the water of life freely." So if you ask, God will freely give it to you. So that fountain of life, which is the water of the Almighty, that you're able to drink each and every day, that you're able to rise up and be that child of the light, that you're able to understand what's going on within your heart, what's going on within your manger, that you have the Christ abiding in, that he's able to be born each and every day anew as you move forward in that. He that overcomes, says Jesus, he that overcomes shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son and daughter. So as God is letting us know that these are the things that we're working with and that he's able to give us, that's if we are able or ready to make that call. And beloved, peace, aloha goes on to say, let the light, the fiery core in the island rumble. Let there be the rumbling that is the signal of the coming of the mother within you. Let worlds be disturbed. Let energies now be quickened. Let all awaken from the sleep of the ages, for the hour has come. The hour is come for your response to the light that is God. So each and every day when the hour arrives, once God wake you, he touch you with his finger of love and tell you, okay, it's time for you to get up. Go out and do the work that I've given you the opportunity to do. Although we go to our job sites, we go to the different places of business or our homes and our families that we are able to share that love and light with. We're still doing the work of the Father that he's asking us to be a part of. Amen. There are some among you who have slept the sleep of the ages for the numberless embodiment. Beloved, peace and aloha says, there are some among you who have not slept the sleep of the ages, and yet you've never been awake. So it's time to awaken all the sleepy and the lethargic ones. And it goes on and say, and some have never died because they have never lived. And some die daily who consecrate the lesser self to the flame. Who do you think? Who do you think you who fancy yourselves chilos of the peace, disciples of the Prince of Peace? So he's asking us, who do we think we are? We're claiming to be disciples of the Prince of Peace, of God, but yet and still we're not awake, ready to do the work that God has given us the opportunity to do. Now it's time to pick up and lace up our bootstraps and go to work. Now is the time, beloved. What do you think when peace is skin deep and when your initiation in peace fly to the wind at the little offense and then come the defense and then the seething of the anger because someone has stepped upon your toes? You have heard the saying, do not make a move until the elephant step upon your toes. The elephant symbolizes the memory body of man and is the agitation. All of us have experienced agitation, beloved. Agitation on our jobs and agitation in our homes and from our neighbors that causes us to lose our peace. I can remember one day as I was driving, when I was driving 18 wheelers for a living, and I drove it for like 26 years. And this one particular one made me lose my peace, all but made me lose my religion. And I'm driving along, and now I'm coming up on a street to where the two lanes become one. So by my truck being a slower truck, I tried to let all the cars pass that could pass. And the one guy that wasn't able to make it pass, he got upset and he felt that I should have waited for him to let him get past also. But I wasn't able to do that because everything would have just shut down. So as I kept moving along, he finally got to where the thing became two lanes again, and he sped up and got around in front of me. And he slammed on brakes in front of my truck. And here I am with 40,000 pounds of material on the back, and now I got to slam on brakes. I had to lock up the rear trailers to stop from running over him. And then he would speed up, and then he would take off and go down the street. And by the time I would catch back up again, he'd do the same thing all over again. So now I got to maneuver and lock the truck up the same way to keep from hitting him. And then finally, he made it to, he thought he was going to make it through the light. That was his plan, but the light caught him. And as I say, I kind of lost my peace because at that time, by the time I pulled up to him, I was so upset that I put the truck, I knocked it out of gear, locked up the air brakes and got out. And I took a 24-inch long wrench that I had laying there, and I walked up to his car. And before I knew it, bam, I hit his window. So as I was swinging, The presence of God told me, says, no, don't hit that man, because it's going to cause more confusion than anything. So when you lose your peace, you lose the presence of God. But God is still there to guide you and let you know what is going on in your life. So the main thing of it is, don't lose your peace because someone else pushes all your button. As they say, once the elephant steps on your toes, sometime you have to learn which way to kind of shift things. And God saved me from a lot of things that was going on at that time. Yes, it is agitation, beloved. Peace says, yes, it is agitation and irritating to remember the misuse of the sacred fire. Therefore, models conveniently now cover over the memory bodies and the tablets of memory. Create your own laws and be a law unto yourself. Do it if you will. But I perceive the delusion of the deluded who entertain that peace, which is not peace, but already the rigors mortars of death. Peace and aloha is asking us not to entertain that peace, which is not peace, which was the thing that kind of threw me into chaos at the time when I got out and kind of confronted the guy about what he was doing to me. Because I had been driving that day for over 12 hours, I was a little bit upset and short on tension. But we have to know that when God gives us those tests, it's truly a test as to who we are and where our world, where our peace can take us. And as we go forward, beloved, peace and aloha says, but I perceive the delusion of the deluded who entertain that peace, which is not peace. And then they go on and say, who is dead then and does not know that he is dead? And they ask us, are you dead? Are you in the depth consciousness? And do you not know it? Question introspection ought to arise. In other words, we have to examine our own inner being, examine who we are and our own thoughts and feeling. The self-satisfaction are never introspective. Their self-satisfaction, the ignorance of the cows up on the hillside. As they chew their cuds, energy is constantly being diverted, constantly soothing the mortal to sleep, not the sleep of rest, but the sleep of death. Awake in the name of the Buddha. Awake in the name of the Buddha. Fulfill that inner potential of your calling. So as the beloved one asking us to awake before it's too late, realize what's going on in your life and know that you are the being. That sword of the Almighty is still there for the guidings. You're going to have that separation, but you got to know how to move back into the peace. As we have all seen cows standing up on the hillside and chewing their cud. This is a stored food that they have stored up for later. Peace and aloha is asking us that when we lose our peace, don't continue to chew our cuds as a cow. In other words, don't continue to chew on the things that cause you to lose your peace in the first place, but move forward and be that light of the Almighty. You can imagine a God who placates. Can you imagine a loved one that is tolerant of anything, any misuse of the sacred fire? And you say anything goes. Well, I'm here to tell you that the law that you have abandoned and the law that you have trampled upon is nevertheless the law inoperable, which is mean not to be moved. If you doubt my word, poor moth, saturated with self-doubt, which you project upon Elohim, I say beware, for I will not receive your doubts, but I will hurl them back to you as a cosmic football player. I can hurl those balls of doubt as fast as they are hurled. Doubt the desecration of peace. Doubt the agitation of peace. In Matthew chapter 14, it says, and immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught Peter, who had asked him to be able to walk on the water with him. So whenever you are feeling that doubt, just remember Jesus, the Almighty God, is there. as he stretched forth his hand to receive us, as beloved Peace and Aloha is sharing with us, as they are working with the Almighty, stretching forth their hand to receive us, to let us know that the doubt and fear that we have is not a part of them, but is something that we have mustered up. They, beloved Peace and Aloha goes on and say, you come then to be initiated with Maitreya, I say. The burden of initiation is upon you. You must initiate the spires of God consciousness. Who do you think you are coming to another to obtain that which is already within you? Who do you think you are, placing the burden of responsibility for your lack upon the entire cosmos and cosmos laugh? It is not the laugh of derision or of scorn, for we are tender toward the child of the heart, but it is the laughter of joy, the bubbling of the fountain of the mother rising to the touch of the hem of the garment of the Buddha, rising then again to tease the Buddha, that he might come down from the centerness in the throne to touch the fountain of the mother. The Buddha cups his hand and receives the water of mother and drinks of the water of life freely. Do you question the wisdom of the Buddha? I think not. Then I say, drink also of the water of life that flows freely from the heart of the mother, as we prepare to drink that wisdom each and every day of our lives, giving God that blessing and understanding. Peace and Aloha goes on and says, I am peace of the living sword. If any component of the lesser identity be placed before the path of the attainment of the Christ consciousness, then you are not worthy to sit or stand or to lie down in the presence of the Elohim. The word of Christ Jesus are the word of the Elohim peace of peace, words that he learned as a disciple of peace long before he took incarnation to be the peace, Prince of Peace, our representative for you and you. He instructed his disciples that their human consciousness of the father and mother could not be placed before the living presence of the Christ, that their consciousness of son or daughter could not supersede their awareness of self as Christ. And the losing of the life is the finding of the life. Lose your life unto God. It will do no good to cling to that life. Let it go into the flame. Let it be recycled. Be the ecologists of the hour who understand the recycling of matter unto the victory. Yes, a man foe shall be they of his own household, the household of his consciousness, who have allowed to inhabit who have you allowed to inhabit your consciousness? What do I see as fallen ones and foreign ones? Who do I see as the creation of the carnal mind? You have created your own zoo, and you have made yourself the zookeeper instead of the zookeeper of the flame of peace. And so you guard the animals of your own consciousness, of your human creation, that you have fashioned out of your greed and your darkness, your self-concern and your revenge. You're keeping them around you. You say that you are the sign, they are the sign of zodiac. Instead, they are. Indeed, they are. They rotate and they revolve as satellites around your world. Beloved, Elohim peace and aloha is letting us know that we are the one that have decided to make this a petting zoo for us and not follow the light of the Christ, to not follow that light that the Almighty has given us and that wisdom that they are sharing forth and giving us the opportunity to have. And they go on to tell us that we've made a puny cosmos, puny indeed. Would you rather not have the Elohim revolving around the center of your heart because you have become the Christ? There's a price to be paid. So in other words, there's a price to be paid when you making your own cosmos, and it's all not what the masters want us to be working with, but what we have decided that we want to work with. So it's time for us to change. There's always a price. It is said, You get what you pay for. And the price of God's consciousness attained only through the Elohim. Only through the Elohim is the pennies of your human creation, the form of your zoo. Pay with the price. Pray with the offering on the altar of sacrifice that is acceptable unto the Lord. And let the rising smoke of the sacrifice signify that God is well pleased, that you have not held back a part of the price. Oh, yes, say this is the same old Christian theology I've heard before. I've heard your thoughts, proud mortal. Say, beloved, peace. Be proud no longer if you would retain the identity of the one that you proclaim. I hear your thoughts, says peace. The Christian gospel is the good news. It is salvation. It comes forth from the Elohim of peace and the archangel of peace. It comes forth from those who are the teachers of the mastery of energy flow. Take care that you do not perceive in my words, then, that this is but an imitation of the fiery gospel preacher. I tell you, the fiery gospel preacher is imitating the Elohim of peace, and well might he, for indeed the imitation of the Christ is the way to becoming the Christ. We do not project fear. There is no fear. If you have fear, it is in you and not in us. We project peace, but peace correlates in the human consciousness and out of the element of that consciousness. To one, peace is a sword. To another, it is a sword of Damocles. And to another, it is a sword that proceeded out of the mouth of the faithful and the true. Angels of living peace come forth and strip these mortals of their garment of morality. You have placed yourselves in my aura this night, and therefore you have given some consent to be receptive of the flame of peace. Therefore, I take the opportunity to increase that peace. As Moria says, let the chip fall where they may. So let the sword of peace descend. Let it cleave asunder the real from the unreal. And let all who live, or let all who live not, but who will to live accept the alignment of that sword. Let them come alive in the peace of the Buddha. Let them be goaded, let them be jibbed, let them be spurred. All that I say is to increase the reaction to my flame, for good or for ill. At least react, at least respond, and heaven laughs in joy. Do you rebel against the true peace? It is not your concept of peace, O mortals. Do not think the universe is fashioned after your concept, evolving in the few short years of your incarnation. O mortals, the universe is real without thee, but the universe is God's seal when you are immortal. I am Aloha. I am the mother of peace, says Aloha. I give birth to peace. I am the power of peace. I am the love, the fiery love of peace. I am the instrument of peace. I am the fulfillment of the man-child of peace. I am the mother of water and of air, of earth and fire. I am the mother. Aloha is my name. I salute you one and all, and I am the softening of the sharp, two-edged sword of my divine complement. I am the softening that you might receive him. I am the softening and the arm of love. I am the softening is for the gentle penetration of your life, of energies unknown to you, therefore misunderstood. I break the news to you, beloved one, blessed one, that 99% of your consciousness, your energy is outside of the flame of peace. That means that we have a lot to bring back into alignment. If 99% of our consciousness, our energy, is outside the flame of peace, it is time that we start to work. Yet you have thought that you have attained to peace. Be quickened then in our love and be willing to begin anew. We construct, we destruct, we tear down, and we level. We level the building that mankind have erected, scraping the scars of their vanity and their pride and their ambition. Where do they think they are going? Scraping the skies. Their skies are the earth yet beneath our feet, says beloved Aloha. Wonders of wonders what mankind thinks that they have attained the attainment of peace. A planet of freedom is Earth, but if Earth is to be free, Earth must have peace. That is the one thing that we have to work forward to in this day and the days to come, is that peace that each and every one is able to live as put forth, where there is no disturbance, or you call dis-ease, where neighbors and everyone can work and walk together and be in peace and see that love that's walking down the street and not see fear that is walking down the street. Because I've seen people walking down the street, and when they see they're meeting someone that they don't agree with, they go to the other side of the street and proceed on. That is not peace, beloved. That is fear. And beloved Aloha goes on and says, yes, all agree and have said it again and again, but they have forgotten that peace began with self. So that is the way that we have to start with this peace. We have to start with peace within our own frame. We have to start within peace within our setting. I was looking at a clip on the news that really disturbed me, where the lady was walking down the street and she hit another lady in the head with a hammer because she didn't reflect who it was that she wanted to see. That is not peace. That is hostility. Every one of you who have lost that peace for a moment, an hour, or a day has contributed in ways large and small and great to war, to crime, to murder, to mayhem, to cataclysm, and to the death of these little ones. Let me read that once again, because that is worth sharing. It says, every one of you, that is how it's written, but we want to say every one of us that have lost peace for a moment, an hour, or a day has contributed in ways small and great to war, to crime, to murder, to mayhem, to cataclysm, and to the death of these little ones. When you hear the judgment of the Elohim of peace, you will hear, thou hast been weighed in the balance of perfection, and thou hast been found wanting. When you hear the coming of the Elohim, you will know that indeed the sword is the most precious gift of peace, for it is the means whereby you are cut free from that which is less than peace. Peace, peace, peace. Beloved Elohim and Aloha asks us to activate for peace, demonstrate for peace, walk the earth for peace, preach the gospel of the kingdom of God for peace. Let peace start in the center of your chakras. And in other words, let peace start within your heart. As we began our day, each and every day, each and every moment of our lives, let peace start within the chakra of our heart, within our being, so that we are not found wanting. Let it begin the rising action as the light of the mother. Let the worlds of mankind tremble and quake. Let there be disturbance, let there be upheaval for this peace, for this is peace. Let mankind be disturbed, and let them not think that in their self-righteousness, their self-holiness, their quiet voices, and their imitation of churchianity, that they have attained peace. And the fallen ones in their smug sophistication, who are unmoved of the light of the plight of the poor, that they think that they have peace. They have it not, says beloved Aloha. Where there is the rumbling, where there is the disturbance, there is chemicalization that will result in peace through and through from the depth to the heights of consciousness. So we come through the Prince of Peace to overturn the money changers in the temple of God. The money changers are the imitators of the great integrators of life, the Buddha. They come changing the interchanging energies and energy of greed and selfishness and lust. We overturn these tables and we take those who would become worthy cheelers. We seize the worthy cheelers in the grip of the consciousness of an Elohim. We turn you upside down and inside out. We shake you through and through, beloved. We stand you on your 2 feet squarely on the earth, and we say, march, march, march. With the warriors of peace, and let us see action. We are tired of those who are sleeping under trees, tired of those who rest along the way, tired of those who see not that this is the hour of action. So let us see those who would be on the path of the brotherhood respond then. You can leave your selfishness under the tree. The fairies and the elves and the gnomes, they will come. They will come as instrument of the Mother and of the Holy Spirit to assimilate your refuge. In other words, the gnomes and the elves will come and get rid of your garbage. They will dispose of it and put it away so that we can change our lives and become who we are supposed to become. And they will transmute it in the fires of the sacred fire. And they're laboring in the field. All the elemental life is crucified by your inaction, by your stubbornness and your willfulness, and your refusal to clear the body of the mother, to clear the air, the land, and the sea, the rivers and the waters, to demand purity for purity's sakes. You must prepare the manger for the birth of the Christ. Can the Christed one descend into this matter energy field polluted with your selfishness in all planes? I don't think so. You who have demonstrated against war, now demonstrate against pollution and make your cries heard across the land. Make those who govern be ashamed to be called the representative of the people until they have disregarded the blackmail and the payoffs of the large corporation who contribute to pollute and to manage energy that belongs only to the mother within you. Can you imagine creating an energy crisis? Can you imagine a people who will succumb to a crisis that is non-existent except contrived in the minds of the fallen ones and their deception? They would steal the light of the mother. There's a ferocious manifestation. Ferocious, I say, like the ravenous wolf, ferocious, I say, but more than that. Far worse than the crimes of the fallen ones who have already sealed their own self-annihilation in the flame. Far worse are the children of the God and the sons and daughters of God who know better, but do not do better. Those who know not and do not are forgiven in Christ. Those who know and do nothing, they bear the responsibility of their own shame and their own guilt. Shame on your own indulgence while while the world suffers, and God himself as energy is confined to the pocket of the hatred and the socket of selfishness. If you would have peace, you must be peace in the dearest, highest, and dearest, truest sense of the word. I am Aloha in the compassion and fires of the mother. I've come to spank the children of peace. I've come to spank the flower children. I've come to say, now grow up and be sons and daughters of God. Now be the flower that unfolds in the heart. Now be the one that are spoken for by God. Your spanking is that you might come and measure yourself beneath the rod of my own, my very own beloved. We shall come again to see how the children have risen, how they have loved their discipleship, how they have known that they are loved because peace and aloha have cared enough to come and speak, to chastise. So chastisement is the love of God for his dearest, most precious children. I return to the flame of peace, the fiery core of peace that is yet locked in the place of the sun. When you have shown yourself worthy of the initiation of the fires of peace, I will come forth from the spear of your own place in the sun, and I will be unto you mother of water of peace, flowing for the fiat of peace, my beloved, and the science of the spoken word. Peace is the silence, peace in the silence. And when you break your silence, let it be a clap of thunder. Let it be a clap of thunder, and the thunder and the lightning of the coming of the notable day of the Lord. As we give thanks to our beloved peace and aloha for the enlightenment of thy wisdom and thy understanding. We ask for the each and every heart that receive thy light and thy word be blessed according to the light of God that never fails as we go forth to do thy will, O God.